Apeirophobia takes the terrifying concept of the backrooms, an infinite maze of corridors filled with office spaces to even parking garages, and implements it perfectly into Roblox. Unlike the hundreds of competitors, Monochrome Studios, the developers behind Apeirophobia, managed to beat every single other game of its genre and reach the front page. But how? How did the developers of Apeirophobia rise to the top and set a new standard for Roblox horror? Well, in this video, we will be analyzing why Apeirophobia became so successful. The monsters of Apeirophobia are the stars of the game. The way they're scripted and modeled makes the player very uneasy around them. The first monster, the Howler, is the classic backrooms entity on level 0. Appearing as a dark, black-wired monster, it spawns near the exit and makes a screeching noise when it's near the player. Large footsteps are heard in the back until the player is lifted and consumed by it. However, the Howler is not active in the level until the player runs into the Siren. Looking almost identical to the Howler, the Siren roams around the map and will scream and emit a bright light when it sees a player.
Camera. Oh wow, that's very loud. Why is it like?
Enabling the Siren to do this will alert the Howler to the location of the player, and if the player does not move, the Siren will charge at them as well. The second monster, the Starfish, is the antagonist of level 2. Being an aquatic creature that fits the pool rooms, it walks on its multiple legs and rushes to the player at a fast pace.
It's my camera.
Wait, whoa.
Oh my god! I'm taking Oh, what is that thing? Jesus Christ!
Its tall and skinny appearance makes it hard to see in the distance and the dark, especially since it's very quiet too. Once it catches up to the player, it grabs them and eliminates them quickly, often near the exit door as it stays there. The Hound is the enemy of level 3. This monster offers a unique way of combating it, as it's completely blind and can only sense people by hearing. Depending on which stage of the level the user is on, the Hound will also go to the spot of importance. It will occasionally use echolocation to sense any sound and move to the area of noise as well. Usually it stays by the cabinets with the keys, to the second half of the level, or near the exit door of the end of level 3. Whistling, jumping, or walking will alert the Hound, and it will leap at the player at fast speeds, instantly killing them.
Wait, look, watch this.
Oh my god!
Oh, sweet!
We gotta activate buttons.
Don't make a sound.
The monster that lurks in the caves in level 5 is the Skinwalker, appearing as 2 glowing eyes in the dark in its true form. The goal of the Skinwalker is to kill a player and mimic their appearance. It walks at a normal speed as the player, however, it constantly follows them and tries to blend in naturally with the user. It even whistles occasionally to bring players towards it. Staring at the Skinwalker may sometimes slow it down or stun it, which is one way to combat its movement. While it's not as much of a threat in single-player lobbies, it's extremely dangerous in multiplayer games, and finishes off players with a jump scare. The Titan Smiler is the largest entity in the game and the enemy of level 6 and level 10. Its appearance is a tall, muscular monster with extremely long arms and an unsettling smile for a face. It behaves by chasing users in a straight path until it either catches up to the player or they hide somewhere. In level 6, it has to clear the objects in front of it to catch the player and grab them to eliminate them. However, in level 10, it's free to roam around the map and can easily pursue and grab a player, quickly ripping them apart. The Smiler is also able to retrace where players walked and can catch up to them if a user goes backwards. The most common and least dangerous entity is the Phantom Smiler. Its appearance is a tall, stick-like figure with a gigantic smiling face filled with multiple sharp teeth. The entity is a 2-dimensional image and appears on any level. It randomly appears to individual players only for a few seconds to jump scare them. It quickly vanishes after this, and the encounter is only visible by the user who is jump scared. The Skin Stealer is the current final entity of Apeirophobia. The monster appears to be a bulky and deformed pouch of skin, with 2 eyes and a hole for a mouth. It is the enemy of level 8, and it walks around corridors to find players. Whistling, jumping, or running cannot bother the entity because it is deaf, and it will also spawn inside the room with multiple chairs. If it catches up to the player, it will consume them. With that being said, I'll be moving on to the map objectives and how the monsters play out in them. Apeirophobia levels are crafted to be environmentally and mentally unique on each level. Whether that is clicking buttons or finding a secret key, each task keeps the player occupied and entertained. To begin, Level 0 is the first map the player is brought into, with a difficulty level of 2. The map resembles the iconic backrooms, with the old rugs and yellow wallpaper corridors. The objective for this level requires the user to wander the map and follow black painted arrows on the walls until they reach a ladder. Climbing through this ladder will complete the first stage. Level 1 starts the players in the dark corridors of the pool rooms. This map is considerably darker than before, with puddles of water residing everywhere, and having a difficulty level of 3. The only way to escape this level is by finding the various pipe valves around the map. Turning these pipes clockwise or counterclockwise until they stop moving will activate them. Once all valves have been turned, an alarm will blare and the player has to run through the exit door on the north side of the map and swim down a tunnel to escape. Level 2 is the easiest of every level to complete, with a difficulty level of 1. The player spawns inside of a living room with several small rooms and stairs leading to a second floor. The player then has to walk down a hallway with a long window until they must make a leap of faith to level 3. Level 3 is considerably harder than the previous level, with a difficulty level of 5. The objective of this map is to find 3 keys in random cabinets and unlock a large door on the east side of the map with the keys without alerting the monster. After this, a stage 2 of the level commences, where the player is in a large storage room and must enter multiple small rooms to press several buttons. Pressing all the buttons will open the door at the spawn, and the player has to go down a staircase to reach the next level. Level 4 is similar to Level 1 in the sense that they are both part of the pool rooms. However, this level is much easier than its counterpart, with a difficulty level of 1. To escape, the player must go down several long corridors before reaching a maze. Following the left end of the maze will lead to a glitchy door and bring the user to the next level. Level 5 is one of the darkest and most enclosed spaces in the game, with a difficulty level of 3. The objective of this map is to navigate through the multiple dark chasms of the cave, while an imitator monster creeps up behind you. Once the user reaches a purple door, they must walk through it to get to level 6. Level 6 is a raisin pace from the previous map with a difficulty level of 2. To escape, the user is required to jump over various pieces of furniture while running from the tall entity which is speeding up to them. The exit is a pink glowing doorway that the user will eventually run into if they dodge enough obstacles. Doing this will bring them to level 7. Level 7 is one of the most mentally challenging levels in Apeirophobia, with a difficulty level of 2. The first objective is to find a computer code by reading the key on the screen of the computer and searching for colored balls on shelves, which correlate with the numbers on the monitor. Once the correct code is found, the player must crawl through several vents until they make it to a library room. They must then find a book of codes and enter each one to a door until the right code is found. Finally, they must go through one more vent which leads them to the exit door and to level 8. Level 8 puts the user in a dark building where they must find a vent to escape. The level has a difficulty level of 3, with some lockers scattered about. To make it to the end, the user has to go past the dining room located on the map, which will bring them to the second zone. After this, the vent will be under a red light to indicate that it is the exit. Going to this vent will bring the user to level 9. Level 9 is another pool rooms level with a difficulty level of 1. The user spawns inside of a pool and must swim out before drowning. After this, they are required to make it through 5 holes in various walls to be transported to level 10. Level 10 is a terrifying parking lot filled with tall entities and has a difficulty level of 4. This level is currently the final one of the game as of the making of this video. To escape, the player must find a key that appears in front of random lockers on the map and use it to unlock one of the roof sheds that are located in all 4 corners of the map. Doing this will let the user finish the current game. While vague, the storyline is a mixture of both Kane Pixel's content, a Backrooms YouTuber, and also popular areas in the Backrooms to set up basic lore. The player begins by tripping and no-clipping through reality. This scene was mimicked from the original Kane Pixel's video to set up a basic entrance into the story. After this part, the player finds traces of prior history in the Backrooms, such as written books by people in the library or old newspapers from a time long gone. While the game and story are not finished, it is implied that the goal of the character that you are playing as is to escape the terrifying Backrooms while finding clues of what history and people resided there before you. The continuous story leaves the players wanting more levels added and lore behind the game. The emptiness of most life and old traces of humans adds to the lonely horror and completes the scary experience of Apeirophobia. After evaluating all the strong points of the game, we can finally answer the biggest question of this video. Why is Apeirophobia so much better and different from other Roblox horror games? Well, to begin, Apeirophobia is not like most story horror games, where there are huge dialogue boxes and a very forced sequence of events. When you jump into Apeirophobia, all that you have for context is a few opening intros and writings, signs, and so on, scattered around the map. There's so much to explore and focus on throughout every single map while making your way to the exit. The second strong point of Apeirophobia are the tasks. The notepads and hints on every level are easy to decipher and let the user know what they must accomplish without having a big task box or a dialogue letting them know what the objective is. The lack of interruption in gameplay keeps the steady feeling of loneliness and anxiousness present throughout the entire experience. Thirdly, the quality of the monsters in Apeirophobia are unrivaled to any other Backrooms horror game, or even most horror games in general on Roblox. Each entity is completely different in looks, actions, and all fit to the map they reside in. The monsters vary in such different ways that the lack of knowledge about each one adds to the horror experience of the game and to the user by omitting the feeling of uncertainty. In the end, Apeirophobia is an example of a horror game done perfectly to success. Despite taking heavy inspiration from the Backrooms wiki and Kane Pixels, the developers put their own twist into each map, making the quality and scariness of every level consistent and fun. The monsters, lore, environment, tasks, and maps are so well managed individually that when they're combined, it feels as if a perfect puzzle is completed. In the end, Apeirophobia is successful because of all these many factors, which together makes it a perfect horror game.